Good morning, Ultimate Family. Hope everybody is doing all right. Hopefully that's working. Coming at you from our desert oasis here in Phoenix, Arizona. Actually, Ahwatukee, as I'm told. It is Tuesday, and haven't been doing lives in a while. Last week, Luis and I were on the road from Phoenix to Arizona here, about 4 days of driving. Hey, good morning. And it was a long drive, but a fun drive. Matthias, good morning. It was a big trip, and we're here for May, and then we'll be up in Utah for June, July, August, and then back here September, October, and then all the way back to Florida in November. It's kind of our wandering semi-nomadic lifestyle, but it's nice. We're here. The mornings are cool. Should hit 100 this weekend over middle of the day, but it still gets down to like 50 something at night. So I love it. Mornings are nice and cool. This morning I want to talk about something, and I don't think I've shared about it here in the group. It's a distinction that is probably one of the most important distinctions that I share. Hey, good morning, Denise. Need my glasses to see who's there. Still just getting started with my coffee here. So this is one of the most important distinctions that I share, not because it's particularly profound, but because it's foundational. It's really core to how I think about everything. And it is a distinction between experience of life and circumstance of life, or our experience of life and our circumstances of life. And very simple, when I talk about circumstances of life, I'm referring to anything that is, something that truly exists as objective reality. When I say this is a chair, right, or there's a chair here, we can all agree it's a chair, and it does not need to be recreated. I don't make sure it's a chair. Okay, I'm gonna sit in the chair now. It's a chair. Let's go. Okay, I'm in the chair. I'm just making sure the chair's still. I don't need to keep recreating it for it to exist. Conversely, our experience of life is everything else. It is how we relate to circumstances, but not caused by circumstances. I'll go slow here because this is, like I said, for me, really important. Circumstances are objective reality. Experience of life are the thoughts, feelings, emotions, sensations, energy that are present for us in any set of circumstances. Very simple distinction. No real aha there or insight. Just a way to establish language. The reason I create that distinction is because, for me, I assert that the truth is, our experience of life is never created from our circumstances. Our circumstances of life never cause our experience of life. When I say that is the truth, I mean it's true always, even when I don't believe it. And there are plenty of times when I am reasonably convinced that my circumstances are creating and causing my experience of life. Long drive last week, and I was tired, and my back was sore, right? Some might say, well, that's because of the drive. I would say, well, no, it has nothing to do with it. I did do a drive last week. It was a long one. And I had that experience of life, but I own that experience was created by me. I produced that experience from my being and my thinking and projected it onto that experience. Sorry, that circumstance. So you can get confusing. Notice that when I talk about our experience of life not being connected to our circumstances, I'm not referring to this idea that it's how you deal with your experience. Like, well, what you're really saying, Townsend, is the drive was long and tiring, but, you've got ways of thinking about that, allow you to overcome that thinking. Well, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying truly and literally is our circumstances of life never cause or create our experience of life. There is no emotion, sensation, feeling, energy within me. Again, this is how I see it. That is produced from something outside of me. Right? Thank you, Matthias. I think so. Now, I want to be clear about something. I'm not sharing this as a truth, like, so anybody gets this, or to think that, like, I'm right, you need to know this. The truth is true always, even when we're not sure, we don't believe it. And I said this a little earlier in the video, I'll say it again. There are plenty of moments and situations where I am convinced or believing that my experience of life is being created from something outside of me. I'm human. I have moments where I will believe I'm upset, angry, aggravated, stressed because of something Louisa said or a way that she's acting. Right? I'll have those thoughts. That I produce those thoughts, that in that moment I have a belief, nope, that's happening out there and it's causing this. Well, that doesn't change the truth. Right? So this idea of truth to me is not some dogma, any truth, by the way, that we want to use to beat people with and try to just get them to see the truth. The truth is a tool for learning, for me. When I know nothing outside of me creates anything inside of me, well, then what I get to do whenever I have the belief, the idea that it is creating it, well, I can get curious about it. And I could ask the question, I love how Byron Katie does that, is that really true? Is it true? Are you sure? Right? And I can question my own belief about something, my own ideas about what's creating it. Another way I can think about it is I could look again. I can see that out there is what's causing in here, but if I know the truth, I say, well, let me look at that again. Hello, Trevor. Hello, Lori. Thank you. The birds do sound lovely. I'm in my little desert oasis here. We got a swimming pool and a hot tub, and it's nice here. I some time ago was walking in a garage in an apartment building that Louisa and I lived in, and it doesn't really matter. We were walking towards the door, and I looked over, and I saw a pile of boxes and trash on the ground. And I kept walking, and I stopped. I said, "That's really strange. That doesn't seem like something would be here. I've never seen it before." So I looked again. And what I saw the second time was one of the concierge people that works there, who was wearing a brown kind of, I don't know, rustic-looking coat, had been hunched over, like unlocking a key box. I just looked again, and where I saw boxes and trash, I saw a human. And that's just a metaphor, if you will, or an example of how we see and believe what we see, but only from who we're being. Sometimes it makes sense to look again from who we're being, and then sometimes we can take this up a notch and say, well, how could I work at the level of being such that I would see something different or experience something different, right? But that's only possible. The rope and the snake. For those that you don't know that, that's a good one to Google. lost my train of thought, but that's okay. I'm still kicking in with the coffee. That is the interesting thing. Most of my days in Florida started at 10, so we're now in Pacific time here in Arizona, and that means meetings that were set at 10 are now at 7. Well, there's a perfect example, right? I woke up yesterday after a week of traveling, and I had pushed a lot of things, so I had hey, Justin, good morning, brother. Oh man, we're loving the weather here in Arizona. It's going to get hot where you are soon. Um, I woke up yesterday to a very full calendar, not a lot of, you know, time last week to hold meetings. I got off the road on Friday, jumped in a car on, hey, Dell, good morning. Um, Jumped in a plane Saturday to go to Colorado to be at the 60th birthday party of the first man who I ever called my coach. Celebrated that on Saturday, got back Sunday. So I've been on the road. So now Monday morning hits yesterday. First meeting says 7 a.m., and I got a full day. The thinking, I'm tired. It's going to be a long day. Woo! What did I get myself into? Right? I'm going to be tired at the end of the day because of everything on my calendar. Well, hey, Gabby, good morning. As I was saying, what I know to be true is that no circumstance creates my experience, ever. There's no amount of stuff you can put on my calendar that would get me to say, no, that's making me tired. That's making me exhausted. So I did a lot of work yesterday because throughout the day, I kept finding myself convinced that I was tired because of what was going on. Oh, the day's halfway through. And I had to do some work. I had to do some being work, right? I had to look again at, is this really creating my experience? Well, no, it's not. Okay, well, then I must be creating my experience as tired or, ready for the day to be done. Let me recreate that. You see, if it is true that circumstances can never create our experience of life, and that all experience of life in any circumstances is created within us from who we're being, well, then I have the power to shift my experience in any circumstance. Now, wrap your head around that because it can get pretty controversial, right? There's a lot of people in the world that don't agree with this at all. And there's a lot of people who say, yeah, but that's not true everywhere. Okay, and I'm not here to argue. I'm not trying to convince anybody. Byron Katie does such a beautiful, beautiful job navigating this conversation with a room full of people because you'll always have somebody who says, because she talks about a variation of this, who will say something, along the lines of, well, somebody who just returned from a war-torn region and their whole family was killed and she was raped. You tell her it's all in her head? And Byron says, no, honey, I'd wrap my arms around her and hug her and love her and hold her. That's what I would do. I wouldn't be cruel, right? So this isn't a tool to bludgeon people with. This isn't something to say to people, oh, well, I heard today experiences are internal. They're not created by your circumstance. Don't make a big deal out of it. This is for yourself. This is for myself. I'm sharing this because this is my practice. And again, not tying, hey, Trevor, exactly. I'm sharing this because it's my practice and inviting you to look again in your life where you're convinced you're having experienced thoughts, feelings, emotions, etc., energy, and you're convinced it's because of what's occurring outside of you. Well, there's an opportunity to ask, is that really true? Who would I need to be? How could I shift my being such that this wouldn't be a problem, right? Or this wouldn't be uncomfortable, or this wouldn't be painful. It's a game. It's for learning. The truth need not be used to bludgeon people or bludgeon ourselves, right? There are days, I have very human days where I'm convinced everything outside of me is creating my life, and I'm complaining or bitching and moaning about it, and I give myself a pass. I say, okay, well, we'll get back to my experiences or my own tomorrow, but for today, we're just going to blame the world, right? That's okay. It's not a problem. It's not like you get a prize or or you win anything if you know, completely sever relationship to outside circumstances. That would be no fun. So, with that, I am going to head off to my day. I'm going to enjoy my circumstances, and I hope whatever circumstances you're in, you guys create an amazing experience of life. And look for the places where you think you can't have an amazing or a happy or a joyful or a peaceful experience of life because of circumstances, and just play with it a little bit. Have an amazing day.